to them. And I take one of their newspapers, not because I'm sympathetic to communism or Marxism, but I do believe knowing what other people are saying and doing is important, even if I don't agree with it. And just on a side note, just this past week, I was in a used bookshop, and I was looking at the books, and a book caught my attention. I won't tell you the subject matter. It is not relevant for this morning, but it caught my interest. And I picked up this book, and I did what I do with any book. I always flip to the back, and I look at the index. I want to see what the subject matter is being covered in the book. And so if you've got, some books will have an index which has the subjects and the names and places being mentioned in it with a corresponding page number. That way you can just skip through it and see the topics that are of interest to you. And sure enough, looking at the C's, this book, this author had all sorts of things to say about Christianity, but also Jesus Christ. And so I thought, oh, this will be interesting, and I paid a pittance for the book. I took it home and I started to read those portions that were talking about my Jesus and talking about my Christian faith. And what I discovered is that this person was very well read. They were very exhaustive in their research. They were very eloquent in their presentation, but they were entirely wrong in their conclusion about my faith and about my Jesus. Back to Newcastle with me standing with the communists. There I was with this newspaper. I picked the newspaper up, and one of the students, I assume he was a student, he had a very well manicured mustache with these curls. And he said to me, do you want to sign the petition, join the cause? And I said, no, I want to go back and drink my coffee and eat my cake before the seagull gets it, right? And I think in hindsight, I think about that encounter. And if I could go back, I would do it differently, because I would go back and I would ask him what his view of Jesus was. You've got lots of things to say about Rishi Sunak, who was the prime minister at that point. You've got lots of things to say about Rishi Sunak. What's your opinion about Jesus? Who do you say Jesus is? And I'm sure he would have had a view, just like everybody has a view, like the people that you work with and live with, they all have a view. And my suspicion would be that his opinion would have been like so many down through the ages of this Jesus, triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem. He's just another outside-the-box thinker who had an idea, who went up against the establishment, and who got killed for it. No different to other characters who have done the same. Malcolm X, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. Jesus is just another guy that went up against the system and got killed for it. Just another anti-war, pro-green, anti-capitalist, anti-establishment, anti-globalization activist. Just another poster boy for anarchy. Friends, family, political theory wasn't my major, but from what little I know about the situation facing us, and as I think about those students triumphing this stuff in the campus, capitalism might be broken, but friends, communism isn't the answer. Marxism is not the answer. Why is it not the answer, loved ones? It's because nothing in the academy is going to solve the problems we're facing. Nothing in the halls of Parliament, no matter how much we reform things, it will not deal with the problem. It will not save us. Why? Because the problems that are out there have a root cause. And the root is the sin of the human heart. It's the sin rooted within the catacombs of the human heart. The situations